What's up guys, it's Young Men's Daily Red Pill, back with another video. Thank you guys for clicking on today's video, liking my content, sharing my content, helping me spread this red pill message, because the more men that have this red pill awareness, this red pill knowledge, the more men's lives that we can save. Man, that's all I want out of this channel. That's my goal, that's my mission. So I appreciate you guys that support this channel and that help me spread this awareness. Let's dive into today's video. We're going to be answering a subscriber's question, and this is a long time subscriber, so shout out to you, my brother. We're going to read your question and then I'm going to answer it. He says, first off, big ups for your content. It opened my former indoctrinated blue pill eyes to reality. So many of my simp-like questions were answered. Questions like, what exactly did I do wrong? I worked so hard to make her happy, so why she left me, were answered with the truth. Not that weak BS my single mother and other females preach. So thanks for the content. I'm suggesting to do a video on the real cost of dating or pursuing women, especially at a young age. Especially with me being 18 and luckily having found big channels in the red pill community. I think would help a lot of others if you share your perspective on this. So I appreciate his question, and I'm going to be addressing the potential risks or the dangers that there are involved in getting into a long-term relationship, especially as a young man before you really establish yourself. And there's a lot of them that I could come to think about. But if you guys have any additional risks or additional things that I might have forgot on this list, feel free to add it in the comment section below. It helps other people that read the comments just to see that, if they don't want to watch the entire video, just to see the comments and help other men take the red pill and learn from each other's mistakes, because that's what we want to do here. So the first thing I want to point out when it comes to getting in a relationship, especially at a young age, is that your brain hasn't completely developed yet, all right? So you are unaware of the pitfalls and weaknesses in another person unless you have a mentor that can help you see the things that you can't see and that they've already lived life. Hopefully this is a red pill aware man, or this is a man that has a good head on his shoulders, that isn't a fool, because we all know just because you age doesn't mean you're necessarily wiser than a younger man. However, a red pill mentor or a man that can teach you how to be a man, how to hold masculine frame, how to carry yourself, and how to work hard and stay disciplined and reach financial freedom or whatever goals you have. That is the type of man and that is the type of mentor that you as a young man want to have around you. We have a lot of these red pill channels that are on YouTube that you can follow. That's what I've done. There's a ton in this community that will help you and guide you to becoming a better man. The brain doesn't stop growing completely until you're around the age of 25 years old, give or take maybe a few years. But when you're young, especially around 18 years old, as this subscriber is, and as many of my other subscribers that are on this channel are, your brain has still around 7 more years to develop, all right? So you haven't even reached your maximum potential of what you can learn. And on top of that, you're not even thinking with your complete brain, and you might not make the wisest decisions at this age. So if you're getting a relationship at an early age, at a young age, you have to understand that your brain isn't fully developed. So all these feelings that you're feeling, they're not really attached to your wise brain. They're more so attached to your little head down there, not your big head that actually makes rational decisions. The next possible risk that I want to talk about is falling in love. And I think this is something that a lot of people say, oh, it's good to fall in love. It's good to find the love of your life at an early age. However, a lot of men tend to not recover from these relationships, especially long-term serious relationships with women. They tend to not recover. I've had a friend of mine that actually decided to end his life over a female, over his girlfriend that broke up with him, unfortunately, in his first year off to school, because she went behind his back, she cheated, she told everyone that he had a small private part, and it got to his head, it destroyed him mentally, emotionally, and he decided to take his life. And without getting too much into that story, I just want to warn you guys that this can happen, especially if you are not yet strong in yourself and you're not yet confident in your own self and your own ability, and you let women and their opinions control you. Because once again, you're young and you need to be aware of these things before you get older, because falling in love can really hold you back in life, and it can be potentially dangerous, like the situation I just described. The second thing I want to talk about is having kids before you experience life is also a huge risk. Or before your girlfriend has experienced everything that she has desired. So your girlfriend, whether she's older than you or younger than you, chances are if you're young, she's young, and you guys haven't experienced life yet. So maybe you've only been with a limited amount of partners. Maybe that's not a big thing on your list, is to have a high notch count or whatever, or to have all the experiences that you want with different women. But it might be on your girlfriend or your wife's mind to, in the future, potentially live up to these experiences that her girlfriends are having that are single, her girlfriends that are having that are thoughts. And she might decide that she no longer wants to be monogamous just with you, and she wants to explore her options, and she hasn't experienced life to the fullest. This has happened to me around 3 times in my life in serious relationships where I took a woman seriously, and in the end she decided that she wanted to experience life, so she stepped out many times. Fortunately, I was able to catch about 2 of these, and then the third one I caught it after the relationship ended. So the third thing I want to talk about is you sacrificing your career opportunities. Now this has to do with relocating and the fact that when you're settled down with a woman and you're in a certain state, let's just say California, for example, say you get a job offer in New York that pays 2 times more, 3 times more, has better benefits, whatever it is that appeals to you, you have a position to move up in that career and better your life. If you already have a woman that you're dealing with in a long-term relationship where you live currently, the chances that she's going to allow you to take that business opportunity and move away from her are slim to none, especially if she has family where you're living or you're in a serious long-term committed relationship. So this really keeps you at a plateau in life. You can't really have flexibility. You're stuck in that one area of your life and you can't move. You can't leverage your success because you're tied down with some woman that wants you to be with her, and actually she secretly doesn't want you to move up, because then she realizes that you'll have more access to women the more wealthy and the more successful you become. The fourth risk I want to talk about is that you're unable to reach your full potential. All right. So when you get into a long-term relationship, that takes a lot of effort. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of SHIT tests. That's a lot of going back and forth, remembering dates, having to constantly schedule, plan out things. That's basically like taking on a second job, all right? That's literally what it is. It's a full-time job, keeping a relationship, maintaining it. And a lot of us guys don't have time for that, especially if you're still young, you're going through the end of high school maybe, or even college potentially, or a trade school, whatever it is. You're starting off early in your career. Limit your distractions. Why do you want to have a female around you when you could be focused and investing all that time that you would spend with her and all that money you would spend with her, and instead invest it back into yourself? When I first made this channel, I had $0 in my bank account savings because I was in debt to a woman. However, ever since I made this channel, ever since I started investing back into myself, I've seen my bank account 10x, 20x, and I've seen commas in my bank account for the first time in my life, and that has been amazing to see. And this wouldn't happen if I was in a long-term relationship, because a lot of my money and my potential was wasted on trying to build something up and maintain something that this other person didn't really want me to achieve. The next risk I want to talk to you about is her isolating you from your family. Now, I know some of you guys maybe haven't had this issue, but there tends to be, especially in toxic relationships, the point when a woman holds you back from being with your family, or she tries to isolate you. She makes a big scene whenever you go to family events or functions. She has to make her presence known because she feeds off of that drama, and she feeds off of getting in arguments with you. And I didn't realize this for the longest, but they're trying to isolate you so they can have more control and more power over you in that situation, in that relationship. And the danger of this is when she has full control over you and your family doesn't have reach with you, she can manipulate you and you become more of her slave. You ever see those guys that follow their girlfriends around at the mall, holding their bags, holding their purses, buying them food, running around, doing this, doing that, buying flowers last minute at the grocery store, always waiting in line, looking just miserable and depressed? It's because their girlfriend has complete control over that situation and that relationship dynamic, and she holds the power. More than likely, that man is being isolated from his family, and she becomes his god. Children. This is the next risk I don't want to talk about. Having children. I love children personally. I have nothing against having children or people that have children, but that is a risk, especially when you're young. The chances that you can get a woman pregnant. One child raised from 0 to 18 years old costs $250,000, guys. All right. And that's not including even paying 2 or 3 years after that, when that child decides to go to college or pursue a career, and you might have to sprinkle in some more money later on. So that's an expensive purchase, guys. That's like a down payment on a home for one child. A well-raised child requires your full attention and time. So how can you invest completely in yourself when you have children? And how can you reach your goals and find your purpose while having children around you? I'm not saying it's impossible to do, but I'm saying that having children around you makes this a lot more difficult, because if you want to raise good children, hopefully you do, if you do decide to have children, You're going to have to be there for them and spend time with them. You're not just going to be dropping them off at daycare. You're not just going to be leaving them at your parents' house. You're actually going to have to invest time, a little bit of it at least, in raising those children the right way. Hopefully you want to do that if you do have children. But once again, children will potentially hold you back. Do not have children at an early age, guys. Wait till at least you're 25, 26, or you're well established in your career if you decide to have children at all. The next risk that I want to talk about is extremely important. And it's the fact that this woman that you're dealing with right now when you're young, you have no idea who this woman will be by the time her brain is developed. So you're messing with her when she's 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Well, her brain also, like yours, isn't going to develop until you're 25. It's not going to completely develop until she's 25 years old. So that gives her a lot of time to change the way she wants to dress, change her eating habits, change her spending habits, change her brain chemistry, decides she no longer wants to be intimate with you, decides that she wants to spend more time with family than you. So it's important for us men to understand that the bait and switch is real, all right, guys? So she might be doing everything right now in this situation when you guys are young, and she might be putting out, treating you really well, taking good care of you, cooking, cleaning, whatever it is, being submissive, being feminine. And by the time she turns 25, by the time she turns 30 years old, she might be a completely different person. And you might be waking up next to a stranger, potentially. Last but not least, this is one of the most important things that I want you guys to listen and hear me out, because I know a lot of you guys are still pumping and dumping or having some type of intimate relationship with women. And that is the fact that STDs are on the rise. All right, guys, this is a serious topic for conversation. You don't really hear about these pump and dumpers or these pickup artists talking about this, but this is a serious issue, especially with super gonorrhea becoming a thing. You have to understand that these women that are sleeping around are sleeping with more men than just you for the most part. According to the CDC, since 2013, syphilis cases have risen 76% to 30,644, while gonorrhea diagnoses have increased 67% to 555,608. Chlamydia is the most commonly reported STD, with almost 1.7 million cases in 2017, up from just over 1.4 million in 2013. Almost half of chlamydia cases were in girls and women aged 15 to 24, guys. This is when you are young, and this can cause infertility, this can cause prostate cancer, this can cause a lot of different issues, especially as a young man, in your male organs, in your testes, whatever it is that you don't want, that will last a lifetime, that you will have to get treatment for. Sometimes you won't even be able to cure these things because these viruses have adapted, and they're continuing to adapt. As we see with what's going on right now, there's a lot of viruses and bacteria out there from a lot of people doing a lot of things with a lot of different people. Gonorrhea cases in men nearly doubled to 322,169 in 2017 compared with 2013, the CDC said. Among women, gonorrhea diagnosis rose almost 18% to 232,587. Be careful out there. This is also a risk that I really want you guys to understand. These are all the risks that I could think of for young people, and some of these will change your life forever if you are not focused, if you are not careful, and if you decide to commit to a long-term relationship. Yes, some of these could apply to short-term relationships as well, such as the last one that I just read about the diseases. However, long-term relationships, especially at an early age, I believe run a lot of risks, and just go into it if you do go into a relationship. So please take precautions and please be aware of what's going on around you. I dealt with some of these in the past, so I wanted to share that with you guys, especially you younger guys that are thinking about possibly getting into a long-term relationship, or what the risks potentially are, even if you're not thinking about getting into a long-term relationship. Just wanting to open your eyes and inform you guys on what the potential risk could be, so you go into it with a full, complete understanding and a clear conscience as to what could be out there and what could potentially happen. Drop a like on the video to help me spread my message. Hit that subscribe button, turn on all notifications so you don't miss any more of my uploads, and share the video so more men can receive this information and they don't run the risk of making the same mistakes that many of us have and many of us potentially might make. Have a blessed day. Love you all.